All right, good morning once again, and welcome to the newspaper review on the Lagoonradio, your number one online gospel radio station, powered by the Diocese of Lagos, Anglican Communion. And of course, you can like and follow us on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram at Lagoon Radio NG, and you can listen via our website on www.lagoonradio.ng. My name is Taiwo Adiola Shabilebe, and with me in the studio is Abigail Mba. Good morning.
You wanted to call the full name. You skip your mind.
It didn't skip my mind. I don't want to commit blunder this morning.
Better don't.
I just had to be myself.
There's a fine attached to messing up my name.
Okay, launch on me, right?
Well,
I reject
could be more. It could be more.
Good morning, and I've got two beautiful ladies as well. Timileyi, good morning, and Favor, good morning.
Good morning, yo. You not tell me good morning.
I said good morning
not
first.
tell me good morning.
Okay, Abigail,
You're
good
messing
morning.
up my
Good
name.
morning, Abigail.
Morning.
All right, in no particular order, the Nigerian pilot, boldly written on the front page, we have resign now. And the rider under that says Islamic cleric Sheikh Gumi tells President Buhari to resign over incessant killings, general insecurity. You can get this on page 8. Says he wants to extend same advice he gave to former President Jonathan to his own brother.
Own brother killing.
I didn't know from the same place.
That's what's killing all of them.
Mm-hmm. That, to be fair to himself, bloodshed now more than during Jonathan's administration. Insists that since he called on Jonathan to resign, he should also call on Buhari to resign immediately. All this you can get on page 8 of the Nigerian pilot. Aso Rock staff take oath of secrecy. Well, we can see the picture of President Buhari by the side of that caption. You can get this on page 6 of the Nigerian pilot. Miyetti Allah demands 30,000 square meter of land for grazing in Delta. You can get this story on page 12 of the Nigerian pilot. Federal government asks Nigerians abroad to stop funding secessionist groups. All this you can find on page 9. DPO killed as gunmen invade Governor Uzodima's hometown. Page 5 of the Nigerian pilot. Extradition. Nnamdi Kanu sues federal government. Kenya to African Commission. This story is on page 10. ICPC says private sector aids 60% illicit financial flow out of Africa. You can get the story on page 13. Benin Republic files fresh charges against Sunday Igbo. You can get the story on page 8 as well. Apex Bank retains benchmark interest rate at 11.5%. Can get this on page 29 of the Nigerian pilot. And at the very bottom, we see CBN bans forex sales to bureau the change operators. Can get this on page 33 of the Nigerian pilot.
And moving on to the People's Daily newspaper, on the issue of COVID-19, NCDC records 213 new infections and 2 deaths. This can be found on page 6 of the People's Daily newspaper. Kidnappers of Kaduna traditional ruler demand 100 million naira ransom. That can be found on page 7 of the People's Daily. They are demanding 100 million naira. All right, we're gonna get it. MPC, why we retained interest rate at 11.5%. If you want to find that, CBN is actually saying, so if you want to read up more on that, you can see that on page 19. Gombe imposes 24-hour curfew on Balanga local government communities. That can be found on page 5. Pension fund hits 12.66 trillion naira PenCon is saying. That can be found on page 4 of the People's Daily newspaper. 681 law school students I'm sorry.
How long have they been at home?
No. These are graduates. These are law school students.
Fresh graduates.
681 of them failed their bar exam. Their
Wow.
final bar.
Wow.
What did they now go to school for? No, because it's like you say you went to school to study medicine, and then you're doing how do you feel? 681.
But wait, they didn't specify whether they are fresh or from the
It
COVID
doesn't.
period.
No. It doesn't matter, because when you're done with your university, right, you're supposed to go to law school. Mm-hmm. So even if you couldn't go to law school immediately, whenever. So this is a mixture of both the ones COVID affected.
Well, it's quite funny. Yeah, 681.
So what does
really
this?
Funny.
This is actually, it's not funny. It's scary. It's
That
actually
number
something to be afraid of.
Yes.
Because then what are they teaching? Who is supposed to? Who are we supposed to be concerned about?
Because
is it the government?
or
is it the lecturers?
The lecturers, because
Is it the
as it is
students?
now, we can't. I'm not saying we should blame the student more, because
No.
if we have this number of people failing
If
or
681
failed
adults
can
can
fail,
fail law school, well,
that
they
means-
should reduce jam score this year. Because oh god, everybody gonna
Honestly.
fail.
honestly.
Anyways, moving on. That can actually be found on page 5 of the People's Daily newspaper. Federal Capital Territory Mbappe residents get 2 weeks notice of demolition. Wow, where are they gonna go to? That can be found on page 21. Now the very picture that don't make the front cover is the lawyers. So
there's a caption under that: new weeks during the 2021 call to bar in Abuja yesterday.
the Daniel New Week. Yeah.
New wigs.
That's that cabbage to wear. That was their concern. It's like they went to school to be yelling, "My Lord, may I?
May I? If I may."
My Lord, if I may. It's not like my client is not guilty, but I'm saying, if it was you, you do the same thing. But that's what we have on the People's Daily newspaper.
All right, moving on to this day newspaper. CBN releases $200 million to banks to quell forex speculation. And the writer under that says disbursement to legitimate users begin this morning. Hence, FX sale to BDCs
Who are the legitimate?
to channel weekly allocations to banks.
No.
Says BDCs aid corruption. All this you can find on page 16 of the This Day newspaper. IMF raises Nigeria's growth forecast for 2022, retains growth projections for 2021. You can get the story on page 10. Federal government, Nigerians in diaspora funding secessionists, spreading fake news.
But let me not lie. It's not completely a lie, because you see those Nigerians abroad. I don't know where. I won't say that they are spreading fake news. I would say they actually have access to more information than we do,
of course.
unfortunately. But how they push those information out, and they are quick to believe anything. Anybody can decide to start a YouTube channel to start talking about Nigerians' problems from their perspective, and they take on that perspective and start pushing it out. And that's my problem with how they analyze things over there. It's not like they're completely fake, but it's too much. Yeah.
All right, you can get that story on page 16. UK, Nigerian security challenges overwhelming, multi-pronged. And the writer under that says, seeks better strategy to tackle unemployment. Says Britain ready to offer consular services to Nnamdi Kanu. May give country a new grant of $125 million for education.
They show the money. It's the one that lost students are feeling low. They show the
Wait,
money.
what exactly? Tell me what exactly is not feeling in this country, because it's only the grace of God that we're living on.
Do you know how alarming it would be that if these people are not lawyers, they were doctors? Do you know how alarming this would have been if you reverse this to say doctors failed their medical exam? They are fine.
Disaster.
It would be that I won't go to hospital again, because
I'm not even sure the ones that are there.
No, that's actually very alarming.
It is. You can get that story on page 16 as well. It's quite tiny, but you can continue reading the story on page 14, 16. Yeah, thank you. You can check that out on This Day newspaper. Sanwo-Olu and his freshly minted minted LGH. They are really minted.
See how they are bling
They just concluded
local government
chairman election.
Yeah.
Well, so we can see the picture boldly on
So
the
these
front
are
page of This Day newspaper.
These are the newly elected. These are your chairmen
Minted.
and
Don't forget
chairwomen.
the English. Minted.
When it's not dollar bill, who mints them? Go and hold them responsible. You don't have light in your area. It's not governor and president that is your problem.
Yes.
It's your LGA chairman. You people, you have pothole that is killing your car. Go and hold them. It's not that they come and pose with picture and wear white agbada
and
then
gold
dress
cap.
like Yoruba demon and disappear. No. Go on
And they'll be
them.
why they are getting fat.
I don't even know their names. I don't even know.
Don't worry, you find out. That's your assignment.
We shall fail local government. Please help me to find his picture.
Emefiele's CBN's intervention funds not national cake. Can get the story on pages 26 and 27 of the Tuesday newspaper, and that's all on the front page.
Okay, yes, and then we move on to the Daily Times. They don't have a lot on their front page newspaper anyway, but they can see federal government to Nigerians in diaspora stop sponsoring secessionist groups. The writer under that says fake news, hate speech, detrimental to nation's peace and security. You can continue reading that actually on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. And then the Nigerian Bar Association drags Buhari, NCC, others to court over #Twitter ban. So this case is still in court.
Still on.
That can be found. You can actually continue reading that on page 3 of the Daily Times newspaper. Divine mandate in Southeast not dissolved. Also, you can continue reading that on page 14. And in the business section, First Bank, OCAT excites Lagos community with construction of modern PHC. What's PHC?
The story is there.
Okay, you can find out on page 16. And finally, CBN bans forex sales to Bureau de change operators. That can also be found on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper.
All right, moving on to the Blueprint newspaper. El Rufai Pali's Nasarawa governor as bandits place 100 million naira ransom on monarch.
How much does the man have in his bank account?
Ask me.
When you say national traditional ruler, is it not cool that they used to go and use and greet them?
Abigail, you need to be calming down.
No, I want us to analyze this.
That's me.
The Oba in your village. Not when you say Oba of Lagos is different. Not the one that.
This Lagos is my village before.
It's Nasarawa now.
Okay, you wanted to refer to my.
No, I want to use that as an example.
No, Lagos is my village.
Lagos is a village.
So my Oba is rich. He's cash. He used to go and greet
him. Wait. That's why during the SARS protest, Baba Japa. Let's not go there.
All right.
How much? Anyway, they feel the government to intervene, and El-Rufai will not pay a dime. El-Rufai will not. And
the writer under that says DPO 6 bandits die in Imo State attack.
Of course.
9 persons abducted in Gasso. Guso? Okay, the story is on the front page, and you can continue reading that on page 6. Anambra primaries, Matawali's defection threaten APC congresses. And the writer under that says Kwara to hold Congress despite Abdulrazak live feud. Governors roll out programs against poverty and unemployment. You can get the story.
What are they rolling out? They should keep
on
it to
page 6.
I saw what's his name now? Tinubu's poster. What's it called for his presidential campaign? And it says vote new opportunities, and in my head I'm like, you need to specify
the change that we voted
you
for.
need to write out what you
now
mean by
opportunity.
Is there any opportunities for us to keep suffering
or to continue the suffer?
Any tagline, whatever, that is not straightforward.
You need to specify it. I mean, you need to come out to clarify the whole.
We don't want issue.
I mean, we've had enough.
They should not roll out anything. Finish what you started first.
But you can get this on page 6. Nigerians' revenue to GDP lowest globally. Wema Bank. Well, W/bank. I don't want to mislead you. You can get the story on page 22. World Bank.
When you say globally, it's World Bank. Only
Thank you.
Bank. Where is FCMB?
Okay, so Nigerians' revenue GDP lowest globally, says World Bank. You can get that on page 22. CBN retains interest rate at 11.5%, stops forex sales to BDC operators. You can get that also on page 22. Okay. At the very bottom of that, we have disciplinary committee sanctions 11 lawyers over misconduct.
When they are failing exam, why would they know? Why not?
Wait, okay, so the right under that says 880 called to bar.
And 600 and how many failed?
It's one failed. You can get the story on page. It's an interesting one. You might want to continue reading on page 5. Bandits were kind to me. She gave me 11,000 transport fare.
They should be
ransom bearer. You can get this on page 5.
That's the person that went to deliver the money. You see that she.
You have to be suspected.
No.
No.
And he's happy.
That they
did
didn't
not
even
add did not add him to
so
the people that were
it
kidnapped.
it calls for celebration.
Okay.
Counterforce narrates about Nigeria. Lie charges diaspora group. You can get this on page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. Prices of goods, services still rising as inflation rates declines. Can get this on page 23. 69 billion
In death.
naira debts. Amcon takes over Nikon Insurance, Nigerian Reinsurance.
These companies are just here. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Very close to us here. You can get this on page 23 as well of the Blueprint newspaper, and that will be all on the Blueprint.
Okay, I think because of time, we just the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, 880 new lawyers admitted to the bar as federal government approves new law school campus for River State. Oh, so it's not, the law school will no longer just be in Lagos. That's actually good, because imagine you study law in Nasarawa, you must come to Lagos. You study, I think this actually will help. Well, you can read up on that on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. Benin Republic government files fresh charges against Igboho. Did he commit any crime there? Because I don't understand why Benin Republic
went there with fake passports.
No, according to what I heard and what I read, I saw, they took his passport already when they invaded his house.
Yes.
So I think he went there, and while he was about to leave the country, they said he's involved in fraud. Like the passport is fake, like
Okay. So wow, okay, that can be found on page 2. But you need isn't that ticket they used to use from Lagos?
No. He's going to Germany from there, and he went there to acquire their own passport. So because his own has been seized while when his house was invaded.
I was like, do you need passport to go to Benin Republic?
No, he's there already now.
All right. Rev'd probe alleged killing of 5 in Isian by customs officials.
He's
saying, okay, that can be found. That can be found on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. E-transmission, INEC should be left to decide. Fayemi is saying on page 4. EFCC freezes the account of Oyo Assembly official over 1 billion naira car purchase probe. That can be found on page 2. I will never go back to APC. Tambo out. I don't know. What's our own? If you like,
I won't be surprised. I'll never go back to APC.
Go and check when you infected. Go and check.
You will still have to go back there. Maybe when they change their name.
Page 4.
And they will remind you I said APC, not whatever name they will be bearing.
Is a new administration,
The same set of people, anyways.
To plug leaky reserves, CBN stops forest sales to bureau de change and accuses international bodies of illegal forex dealings, asks banks to set up teller points for forex sales to customers, and retains MPR at 11.5%. All of this can be found on page 6. Wow. Okay, anxiety as Supreme Court decides Akere
Dolu.
My dear.
Thank you, you're welcome.
His what?
Akere Dolu.
And Jagede's fate today. Why is there anxiety though? Anyway, that can be found on page 4. Presidency and staff take oath of secrecy. Warned against divulging classified information. Is it every staff? Like what staff? When you say staff of National Assembly, are you saying even cleaner?
Everyone.
Because even if
no,
what are they hiding though that they must swear oath of secrecy? Well,
are you seriously asking that question?
Okay, yeah, because if it's like working in the White House, you have to actually not, because you hear things, you see things.
Yeah. You have to be confidential enough.
People that the president not swear oath when he entered. Okay, sorry. Olaleye Oyo COVID-19 task force member dies. That can be found on page 2. 1 police officer, 6 bandits killed as police repel attack on Imo community. And of course, also 11 suspects have been arrested. That can also be found on page 28. And of course, it's the picture of our print mint LGA people with the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. This Yeah, I think that's all on the Nigerian Tribune.
I think
newspaper.
that's all we
We are
can
out
take
of
for today
time.
because time is fast
We are
spent.
out
Thank you
of
very much for being a part
time.
of the show. Tomorrow is going to be another edition of the newspaper review you don't want to miss. You can join us on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram at Lagoon Radio NG. And of course, you can tell your family and friends to listen via our website on www.lagoonradio.ng. Coming right after now is the moment of truth by the Venerable Henry
Adeleko.
Adelegon.
Thanks.